Have you ever gotten to the end of the week and it was busy, but you realized that you actually didn't do anything that mattered to you and it just felt empty and unaligned? Then this is exactly the opposite of living intentionally. And most people over time, they drift into habits, people, projects, goals that don't actually feel valuable and meaningful to them. And the end result is that they live a life that just feels empty, unaligned, and meaningless. And in this video, I'm going to share exactly how you can start living more intentionally. I'll give you the exact steps you need to take in order to build a life that feels meaningful to you and where it's filled with stuff that actually matters to you. Hi, my name is Felix, and on this channel, we talk everything about building a profitable and meaningful life, especially if you have multiple interests. Let's jump into it. So before we actually start building anything, we need to define the thing we actually start to work on. It's very important because otherwise you start optimizing for the wrong things. And I already whipped up my own definition on this. So what does it mean based on first principles to live an intentional life? I know this gets thrown around on YouTube all the time now, but you need to actually be aware of what the basic truth of this is. And my definition is being able to take your limited resources, so your time, energy, and attention, and invest them into the things that are most meaningful to you based on your verified inner criteria. So your vision and your values, or like your most important goals, instead of investing your limited resources into stuff that is based on external variables. So goals that you've seen on social media, or pressure from society, or things that your parents gave you, or life paths that your girlfriend pushed on you, like whatever it is, you want to be able to take more of that time and invest it into the things that matter the most to you, okay? And I came up with a little formula that we can use. It's resources, so time, energy, and focus and stuff like this, then plus reflection, because you need to be able to reflect on where your time is going and what is meaningful to you, what matters to you, what are your values, all these different things. And then you end up with an optimized allocation, aka you're investing your limited resources into the things that matter the most to you. And the more time you're able to spend on this, the more fulfillment and intentional living you'll receive. So it's just cause and effect, essentially. The more time you allocate towards living intentionally, so the more time you spend on the things that matter the most to you. So for example, if you tell me, hey, my family matters the absolute most to me. Okay, cool. Then this is what matters most to you and what will make up an intentional life. And then the more time you're able to spend with your family, the more time you're able to live in the stuff that matters most to you. And then you have this feedback loop. All right, and let's do this together. So the first step is actually to define your core. Before we set any goals, before we do anything in granular detail, we need to understand what is your core and what is actually the thing guiding your behavior and, as you can see here, most meaningful and your verified inner criteria, okay? Because this is kind of like what's the thing? Like, so those are like pretty much the glasses you see the world in. And the better the glasses, and then you see like 3 different goals and you look through your glasses and you're able to see the goal that is actually the most meaningful and you're choosing to pursue this instead of the other ones that don't mean that much to you. The core. What is your core? Your core are your values and your vision, I'd say, / purpose, whatever wording you want to use, / P. Okay, that's your core. That's where you start with. Those are not really actionable goals. Those are just the things you start to measure your success in, and they will allow you to choose what you want to invest your time in and what you don't want to invest your time in. And there are a few ways to find your values. So the first way is to actually do the graveyard speech. So you want to imagine your own funeral and that you're at the end of your life, and then you have your funeral and you have 4 people that come up and speak about you and what kind of person you were in your life and what you did and what you accomplished and what you stood for, most importantly. And you have, for example, your mom, you have your best friends, you have a work colleague, and your girlfriend. Those are your 4 people. And you now want to close your eyes or go in a quiet room or in nature, and you just want to imagine, like, what if they were giving a speech on your funeral? What would they say? Like, what would they say about you? Like, who were you as a person? What did you stand for? And you want to go through all 4 people and do this. And what you will come up with is essentially 4 different speeches of these people that you just imagined. And in those speeches, you're able to see all these different values and things that actually matter most to you, because you want other people to say them about you, about your life when you're dead, okay? Or when you are at your funeral. And you want to look at all these different speeches that you have, okay? This is speech 1, speech 2, and then you want to find the common patterns. Like, if you read through them, you can even pump them into AI if you want, if you're not concerned about anything. And you just say, hey, let me please summarize them for me. Like, what are the basic values they can see here? And you'll end up with a list of like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different values and principles that are most meaningful to you. Like, for example, if your mom said like you were a person that always went after it and was like really hardworking and went after his or her goals, then obviously this seems to be something that you really, really value, of like going after your goals, working hard, pushing, continuously pushing more and harder and stuff like this. Okay. And you'll end up with this list of 3 to 5 to maybe 10 different goals. And you want to boil it down to the most important ones. Like, what are the 5 maybe that are really the most meaningful to you as principles? This is thing number 1. The second thing you want to do is you want to look past in your look in your past, and you want to look at the turning points in your life. Like, where have you made a choice that completely ended up changing your life? So, for example, what are turning points? Like you breaking up with a girlfriend or your long-term girlfriend, that could be something, or you end the friendship with your best friend because it's not good for you anymore, or he started getting into alcohol or anything else. Maybe you moved to a completely different city where you didn't know anyone, you were really scared, but you still ended up doing it. Or you quit a job, or you started a job, like all these different things where you did something and you choose to do something that ended up really massively, positively impacting your life. And it can be stuff that happened to you as well, okay? So it can also be your girlfriend leaving you, but it ended up starting to bring you into a season where you just exploded into change. Could also be something, okay? And you want to look at as many as you can think of, not crazy many, but maybe like 5 if you have, maybe 8, 10 if you can. The more the better, you can just get more data. And what you want to do there is, let's do this together. So let me think of one of my turning points. When I was maybe 17, I had before it, I was living pretty unhealthy, I would say. I went to like McDonald's, I drank on the weekends with my friends. I didn't watch my diet at all, and I ended up being a little bit chubby. And I wasn't confident about my weight or my physique. I was actually a little bit ashamed and insecure about this and my belly and stuff. And I always wanted to have a 6-pack and change and start working out and be fit and do all these different things. But I've never actually did it. But then one time there was something that happened in my life, and I ended up making the decision to completely change my physique. First I made the decision to do this, okay? Decision, very important. I decided no more, I want to change this now. I'm sick of being chubby, being made fun of, whatever it is, and I have a strong why. I know why I want to do this. The second thing is, I bought a course, as you do, on losing weight and getting into the gym and stuff. And I started working out and changing my diet like crazy. And maybe if I can pull them up, I have some pictures somewhere right here. There. I ended up being extremely obsessed with the gym and working out. And this one tiny decision got me to looking like this after a few years. Took some time, of course. First I lost the weight, then I started to work out like crazy, and then I started to really bulk up. And obviously, as you can imagine, like this completely changed my life. I was obsessed about fitness. Since then, I continuously worked out. I went to the gym. I did all these different things, but it started with this decision, and this completely changed my life to a positive trajectory. And if I look back at this moment, then I can ask myself, like, what was the emotional motive behind it? Okay. Why did I make this decision? Why did I choose to do this? Like, no one was forcing me. I wasn't pressured to do this. I wanted to do this. Why? And by really dissecting this and using your ability to think and to reflect on your own behavior and your own thoughts, you'll find out that there were some guiding principles that made you choose this. Or in this case, it made me choose this. So number one, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to prove to myself what I can do and what's within me. And since I was pretty much chubby before it all my life, I didn't know that I can actually do this, and it's not that hard to do. And I wanted to prove and see if I actually can do this, okay? That was one of the things. And then another one, I wanted to go my own path. I wanted to be different. Nobody else really did work out, or just a little bit, but I wanted to be different, and I wanted to like go my own path and like push harder than everybody else. So being different. And again, once you do this for like 5-10 different turning points in your life, you'll see another pattern of values and things that you make so many of your life-changing decisions on, that those are actually the guiding principles that you define as most valuable in your life. And this is not some airy-fairy in the future stuff that you do on a weekend seminar. This is actually, you made decisions in your life based on those values, so you're actually acting in alliance with them. They're actually meaningful to you, and you act on them. And you end up with a list of like 3 to 5 as well. And you want to take both of these things, and you just want to summarize them and put them together in a cohesive list of like 3, 5, maybe 7 or 10 different values, depending. And taking the strongest ones that really drive you and that get you up in the morning. This now is your internal compass. This is your verified inner criteria where you're able to judge if something is successful and meaningful to you or if it's not, okay? Then, next. Once we have this, we need to understand what kind of vision we have. Like what's your purpose in life, okay? And also some big questions. You need to take some time with this and just spend some time on this. I think there isn't really like this hardcore strategy. You just have to sit down quietly in silence and understand what your why is. Like, what's your purpose? Why are you here? Like, what are you meant to do? What's a meaningful life to you? You just have to sit down and quiet. Like, there is no secret technique to do it in 5 minutes while scrolling on social media. Just go somewhere quiet, maybe in nature. Just sit there for a day or two, or however long it takes. And it might take you some time. Like, this is not a thing you sit down for 2 hours and this is all figured out for the rest of your life. It's probably something where you need to keep coming back for a long time. So you start working on this, then you let some weeks pass, you keep coming back, you improve this, and you work on this. And then you have your core thing. You have your vision, your purpose, and your values. Once we have this, you can actually start setting some goals. And you want to set goals that are in alliance with your values and your vision, obviously. And if you already have a list of goals, and I would just advise you, or that would be my recommendation as I do it. Just do a mind map and write down everything that you can think of that you do if you have $10 million in your bank account that will really excite you, if you were 10 times smarter than the rest of the world. All these different questions, ask them and pump out all these ideas. At least 100. You want to do more, okay? Once you did your mind map and you brainstorm like all these different goals that you can think of, like it can literally anything. You want to be a Michelin star chef, you want to ride a horse, you want to be a soccer player, you want to build a business, you want to have $1 million, you want to have a family, a farm, like whatever it is, just pump this onto the list. No judgment here. No judgment. Once you have this list, this mind map of all these different goals, you want to take your list of values and your vision, and you want to look at all these different goals and you want to map it towards your goals and values and vision. And ask yourself, like, is this in alliance with my values? And if not, just delete it. It will just waste your time and it will distract you from actually the stuff that's meaningful to you. Delete it, and also modify if you can, adjust it. If you're like, does this align with my values? Yeah, okay. But actually, if I change it a little bit more, if I do this instead of this, and for example, I'm not doing it alone but with a team, then I get more belonging. Just change this around so it actually does align with your values and it does give you the things that are most important to you in life and will make this successful for you. Once you do, you end up with a comprised or like a way smaller list than before. And again, just let this sink in a little bit, keep coming back. And when you're ready, just choose the things that are most meaningful to you. What you then need to do is you need to become more aware of where your time is actually going right now, because probably your calendar is pretty filled right now with junk, and you want to become aware of where you spend your time and your limited resources so you can start optimizing this and spend more time on the things that are most valuable to you. So there's an exercise called the 100 units of time or 160 units of time, whatever it is. But essentially, it's very simple. People want to complicate it. You don't need some crazy tracking sheet. Just get out an Excel sheet and just write down for a week, every 30 minutes, what did you do in those 30 minutes? Like, how did you spend your time in those 30 minutes? And just do this for an entire week. So for example, 6:30 you got up, then you went to the bathroom, then 7 to 7:30 you meditated, 7:30 to 8 you went to the gym, then you ate. Also the bad stuff, like for example 7 to 10 you were just watching Netflix, binge watching, or 4 to 5 you were scrolling on social media and watching YouTube videos. Write this all down, and after you do this Monday to Friday, maybe even on the weekend if you want to, and write it all down. And once you have this list, after like a week, you want to look at this list and extract all the things you were putting your time in. Put this into buckets. Like, okay, waste of time, that was valuable, not valuable, and that was for work, stuff like this, okay? And then you want to see and remove like what is not in alliance with your values. Like, what can you change? What can you move around so you spend more time on the things that matter to you and less time on the things that don't matter anything to you, okay? And once you have this, you just cross off and try to remove everything that's not in alliance with those values and those goals and those visions. For example, if you spend like 5 hours on social media, maybe you can delete this. Maybe you spend 7 hours on Netflix that week. Maybe you spend 2 hours with people that you don't align with. Maybe you worked on some goals that don't really have anything to do with what you want in life. And just get rid of this stuff. Try to remove it. Okay, don't make excuses, just remove this. Remove the social media, you don't need it, the Netflix, and make then this time actually intentional, where you spend time on your vision, your goal, and your goals, working on them that matter the most to you, okay? And now you're probably asking like, okay, I have all these great goals, like what do I actually do? Well, you have to break them down into actionable steps. Like if your goal is to run a marathon because this aligns with your values, then you need to break this down. Okay, what do I need to do in order to get there? I need to become a runner, I need to be able to run 40 kilometers. Okay, so you start small, you run like 1K, you went then 5K, and you do this 3-4 times a week, and you just find someone that knows how to do this and get his plan, and then start implementing this time. Instead of watching Netflix or scrolling YouTube, you start running, which will step by step allow you to build a life that is really intentional to you. Okay, and if you like those kinds of videos, then you can click right there on this video where I go into the reasons why a lot of people with many different interests actually stay poor. Okay, now you got the foundation of living intentionally, but now you also want to be able to make money with this and stop being poor, so you have more time that you can spend on something that's fulfilling to you, which makes money, and also have more free time you can spend on the things and the goals you just worked out. So if you want to find this out, then click right there on this video where I go deeper into this kind of topic. And until then, I'll see you on the next video. So click right there.